scientists elsewhere in the world?
There's a little bit, it's sort of growing. I mean, I would say that on the blog, for instance, on iStories, people who are in the field, maybe a similar field to someone who's blogging will be like, oh, I was so interested in your recent post about blah, 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 because I study da, 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 you know, something related. So there is starting to be that communication. And also, when we do our live webcasts, we do them in the studio, we do get people who come in and talk to the scientists that way. And for instance, in a couple weeks, in San Francisco, there's a big conference, the AGU conference, which is American Geophysical Union. So it's a lot of earth scientists, geologists, things like that. And they're going to come and they'll talk live with Antarctica because we'll provide a live connection for them. And then that gets into this, you know, all of them talking to each other stuff. So. Yes.
So with all these blogs that you're doing in the iStories, I guess the first question is, how many of these like separate sites and separate properties do you have? And the next question is, what challenges do you see in, you know, when this, I don't know what you would call it, exhibit or program ends, how to continue to manage the site, how to continue to manage that content?
That's a really big question. Let me answer that second question first. That's a really tough one. We have, as I said, a huge website and only so many web team members. There's only about 10 people, I think, altogether on our web team. So imagine 19,000 web pages and trying to. I know it's big comparatively to a lot of other institutions, but like for instance, we do a lot of space projects too. You know, we did a lot of stuff on the Mars rovers, on the Cassini mission with Saturn.
Second live streaming to Second Life.
That's right. We've been doing some Second Life stuff as well. Yeah, we streamed the Eclipse webcast into Second Life live, which was pretty exciting. But like when those projects end, for instance, so we have a website about Cassini. We have a bunch of webcasts that have sort of, you know, bolstered the site with more content, and then we do that for however long. And then that's the problem. What do? The site still exists on the website, but we rarely, and I'm just going to be honest, we rarely get back to like adjusting tenses and making updates. Sometimes it kind of depends on the size of the project and the scale of the project. Like this is a large scale project, so I imagine that there will be research done on it and then follow up, you know, and they may even decide to do a follow up grant of some kind if they decide it's successful, like this idea of training scientists as media producers. They might say, oh, well, maybe we'll extend that part of the project, you know. But with the websites, it's tricky for us, definitely. I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question?
I guess how many, so you're showing
how many of these?
Ones,
yeah,
how many other ones
there's a bunch. There's a bunch. I mean, this one probably is currently the most in use of all the various social media kind of thing. That's where a lot of the focus is with this one.
Okay.
Some of our other big projects don't maybe have as many. But most of our projects on the web have some kind of video, maybe some kind of audio dispatch of some kind, or podcast, and then some degree of other, you know, we use some of the other tools as well.
So how do you maintain it? How do you keep track of what needs to be updated? What's happening?
That's true.
Is it just like whatever's top of mind is what we're going to or is there something?
Well, for instance, with iStories, there's a couple people dedicated to that project, which is actually a new thing for us to have just 2 people doing that project.
It's a different question if you're talking about your website or if you're talking about your social media sites.
Yeah.
I mean, like I mean, it's in my head now, but you kind of to create a checklist of things to do every day. I mean, like to start to have RSS readers going straight to a Google reader, where you can open up your computer in the morning and see who's been talking about you. Are you being talked about? Who's talking about you? To engage in that conversation, you know, it is something you want to comment on. But then also to create, like you were talking about doing the Twitter feed, and like that's excellent. You know, to like I see how many people have tweeted about us every morning. I open it up and they're like, you know, 20 new tweets, and like do I some of them I engage with and some of them I don't. And, but yeah, to create I think a checklist. But in terms of like website stuff, like that's totally much more internal, and they have, you know, group meetings about how to delegate.
But it is tricky, and like for instance, again, like after the eclipse, what's interesting is we have kind of this multi-presence thing going on. We have our website and our web presence, then we might have a live event at the museum that also is part of the same project, for instance. So with the eclipse, we were broadcasting it to the world over the web, but we also had an event at the Exploratorium live, right? And what we find now, of course, is loads of people are with their cell phones, Twittering and sending pictures and doing all that, and we're having trouble figuring out how to capture that aspect of it. But for instance, what we did do was we set up a Flickr account for the eclipse, and then we had someone on our staff, and this is one of those tricky things, how do you present yourself? So she decided to do it as, hi, I'm an administrator for the Flickr Exploratorium's Eclipse Flickr pictures, and we really love your pictures. Would you be interested in joining our photo stream, you know, and did it that way. It's a little bit laborious, of course, but we did get hundreds of pictures from all over the world again, you know, so.
Yeah, the common theme is that, you know, people who are undertaking these management ones, it's still a very organic stage where we're all stuck in bureaucracy. It's going to happen if there's something who has a specific personal interest and is of a mind to actually be the person responding. And like the next step is to move that forward to something more strategic. I'm a UX consultant, and my clients are starting more and more to, you know, what I keep hearing is, yeah, we need to have a community strategy, we need to have a social media strategy, and that's it. They can't get any further than that because no one is actually involved in those things. They're just starting to hear about them.
That's right.
So I'm curious.
Well, yeah, that's a very interesting point. Another thing I was just going to mention was, and Alice and I have talked about this a lot, was a couple years ago at the same conference that I went to, the Museums on the Web conference, a woman did a presentation from the Brooklyn Museum, and I don't know how many of you guys are familiar, but they have a community page. And it is very awesome, and it was the hit of the conference. I mean, everybody just freaked out about it. And then she did a follow-up presentation last year, which I went to, and what came out of it for me was this very notion. This was someone who had made it their sort of, that was what they were going to do. This was her mission within the context of the museum to create community in Brooklyn with their community and on the web. So it's tricky because how do you dedicate? You have to find the interested staff, but you also have to free up the time.
Exactly, and what people are I think most excited about at a higher mid level is the fact they're getting an authentic experience by talking to someone who's willing and wanting to have these discussions with them, and that they're, you know, very important characters.
I encourage getting an intern and you know, and trying to get some credit. Well, yeah, social media is kind of like it's kind of sexy, you know. And so I think that a lot of young people are doing it really naturally, like they're growing up, and like my little sister got my parents to like start text messaging at the very least. And now my parents are 60 years old and they're texting me, like that freaks me out. I think that just helps them. And I understand like you do have to like control like your language. You do like to not be too formal that it sounds like advertising, because Twitter, you can't advertise for Twitter. You know, really. I mean, you can say this is coming up, but you can't shove things down people's throat like on social media. It doesn't work.
That was one of my points that I was going to get to. We're not marketing people, so we can't speak. We also have a small marketing department at the Exploratorium. But our general feeling is that social media is not for advertising. I mean, I just think that that's what we've heard back so far from our community. We tried a couple experiments on YouTube, kind of doing ads for the Exploratorium, and it just hasn't worked so far, and I don't think that's where the interest is. So we're trying to find ways to make the content be the advertisement or whatever, you know, however you want to say that, but like that's the idea rather than let's put ads and viral market on them. And we have fights institutionally in-house about this between our marketing people and our press people. Like we definitely disagree. So. Because, you know, another thing that comes up a lot is that everybody wants social media, but they don't actually know what that means.
Exactly.
You know, so,
it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
At the zoo, we look at ours as a third public relations,
Yeah.
a third guest services, and a third education.
Yeah.
But we don't really, we have a public relations person and a community keeper. We're kind of doing it, but that's kind of what our goal is. Like you said, it's not advertising.
Yeah.
It is a relationship.
So I want to be respectful of our awesome nonprofit whose time you probably know what I work for, almost 11 hours, and move into a more casual, if anybody wants to meet each other and swap information. We usually are out of here by 8, which is really soon, and I let the conversation go long because I am just totally fascinated. So thanks for your patience. So So let's loosen up a little bit and take a few minutes to meet each other. And
Yeah, feel free to
please
ask